Hey guys, and welcome to the Invar Technologies Podcast, a podcast where we interview top-level executives inside leading and growing companies. Excited to have our guest today, Greg Padgett. We'll be diving into his story.
Padgett.
Greg Padgett. We went over this already. So Greg Padgett, we'll be diving into his story, a little bit about what his company does, and some engaging insights into the industry. So make sure to stick around. I'm terrible with names. Everyone knows this by now. We've probably seen all the episodes where I come out with not pronouncing the names right. But I'll go ahead and just kick this off to you, Greg. Forget the lackluster intro. If you could just, introduce yourself, tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at Cookie Co.
Yeah, I'm Greg Padgett, the CIO of Cookie Co. We are a gourmet quick service retail bakery that is franchising across the nation. We have our 22nd location opening up this Saturday. And my background has been a little bit all over the place, although as the journey continues, you're able to kind of see common threads. But I've done a lot of like operations in businesses, kind of higher level administration, G&A. And then I did a stint in software, specifically inventory management, ERP software. So working with businesses that were looking to move kind of their inventory management and their ERP from like a simple Google Sheets, Excel system into kind of their first software. So that was exciting, helping companies grow and kind of evolve. And the reason they were needing our software was because they were finding success. So that was exciting. Did a little stint in real estate there for a bit where I helped a team of agents kind of improve their processes while also being an agent myself, and got a deeper understanding for legalities and liability and kind of that whole world of contracts and things. And now I find myself with Cookie Co. and helping them, come from a startup. It was started, as we'll probably talk maybe a little bit more, but it was started from a garage, and then opened up a location that found good success in their community and wanted to share that with the world and bring local cookie shops to every neighborhood. And so we made the decision to franchise, and it's been going about 2.5 years now. And it's an exciting startup journey, to say the least.
Definitely, especially from the humble beginnings, right? Being able to, we were just talking about it's a whole business now. You guys got a lot of operations, and it's fascinating to me. You obviously are ahead, doing a lot of different things with the technology and being the CIO. But what was it about, kind of the role and being with technology and implementing inside businesses that you really kind of found a passion for? What was it that made you want to have a career in this kind of vertical?
Yeah, the tech industry's changed a lot, especially here in the last 10, 15 years. But here, especially recently, there's been an increased need for bridging the gap of technology into other aspects of the business. So typically you wouldn't have, an organization wouldn't really have a CTO unless they were actually, building code and deving out some sort of application. Whereas now technology is so integrated into every aspect of our lives, and especially in business, that you need someone that not only understands technology, but is able to understand people and business as well and help bridge those gaps. And so it's been fulfilling being able to come in and get to know, really at the granular level, kitchen ergonomics, kitchen and food service specifications, and then implement different technologies and different systems and processes to help facilitate that success. So, anywhere from sales to operations, both on the corporate side, but also on the brick and mortar boots on the ground level, being able to kind of look at how technology can come in and help improve those and ultimately increase revenue and job satisfaction. So it's been an exciting kind of opportunity to kind of come in here and play that role.
Definitely. And it obviously, with great responsibility often comes great fulfillment, right? Like that's how it usually works. I feel like, but obviously being inside the industry for a little bit, you've probably seen kind of the ebbs and flows of kind of what the market has been through. But I'm curious to get your take on some of the technological trends that maybe you're seeing right now in the food industry, from being inside it for a little bit. What are you noticing?
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience. I have no prior food and beverage experience besides working, one of the first jobs I worked at a bowling alley, and so we had a fryer in the back, and the most amount of food we could make was anything that gets dipped in hot oil. So that was my experience in food and beverage prior to this. Um, for the first year of Cookie Co, didn't have any real guidance or insights, and so I was kind of just coming to the table with a fresh perspective. It wasn't until about a year in that I attended my first industry conference. I went to MERTech out in Vegas. It's a multi-location technology conference. And I remember I was sitting in a breakout session with a bunch of other CIOs and CTOs from the restaurant industry. And they were talking about innovations and things to be aware of, changes, and they spent about 45 minutes talking about cloud. And in that moment, I realized, okay, this is a very antiquated industry. This is an industry that's been on old tech for a while, whereas other verticals have been more quick to adopt or even born into kind of the SaaS cloud-based world that we live in now. The food and beverage has been very slow. Um, and so they're moving from very on-prem solutions for their point of sales and their systems, and those have worked and been the industry leader for the longest time. And now, just kind of here in the last 5 years, I would say they're finally starting to really catch up and understand the need for a true cloud-based system and all of that entails. And so, a lot of what you're seeing out in the food and beverage space is people transitioning from that old antiquated kind of on-prem solution to a more internet-based access anywhere type of solution, as well as um, finding, there's been a lot of uh, people in this space coming up in their own and fulfilling some of those needs. So you have a lot of partners, and you're kind of going from an all-in-one solution to being able to go out and do a best in breed and look at, okay, who's doing loyalty the best right now? I want them. And who's doing point of sale? I want to go grab them. And you're able to kind of more curate your tech stack nowadays, better than you ever have been in the past. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of innovation and kind of the way things are changing here in this industry.
Definitely, definitely. I love that you touched on the fact that I do see it as one of those industries that is catching up with the times, right? Is one of the more of those outdated industries where, as you know, you have some more industries that you're in where they're very, it's cybersecurity aware, very, cloud aware, right? And so we are starting to now see that shift though. And I do agree with you because people are more conscious, they're becoming more conscious of these different technologies that are coming out there that can really start to, expedite business growth, right? Not only really just streamline operations, make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, I think too, one thing I'm seeing is, the status quo has shifted. So whereas a company might have been able to get by saying like, hey, we don't have, any integrations available. Or if not that, hey, we have an API, but it is what it is. Now, you know, the need is there and the knowledge is there that, hey, you can build these things so that they're easily integrated, right? And so what we're seeing a lot more now is people building software and building their applications around very much open APIs. We want to build this. We know that systems can easily integrate together if you build them the right way. And so we're seeing companies that are doing that. They're saying, hey, we made this so that you can go connect all these other things rather than be funneled into just our limited, access that we offer.
Definitely, definitely. I wanted to ask you, around Cookie Co. I know you touched on a little bit at the beginning of our conversation, but could you go into a little bit more depth about what you guys are really, building over there at Cookie Co. and kind of some of the main products that you really offer?
Yeah, so we specialize, as the name suggests, in cookies. So our main offering is 6 gourmet cookies. Some of those are standards. Will always have chocolate chip, and then the others are going to start rotating on a every other week basis. And then the other 3 cookies, those are on a weekly rotation. So we have over 100 different cookies, and we work them into the lineup with seasonal flavors and just good all around cookie flavors, so that people always have an incentive to come back and try something new. Uh, but really our value add revolves around the quality of our ingredients. So when our founder Elise Thomas was setting out to create a cookie shop for her community, one of her big values was making sure that the consumer gets what they deserve. You know, we're in an increasing state of prices going up, um, and just wanted to make sure that we respect that customer and give them a product that is deserving of the compensation they give us back in return. And what that comes down to is just better ingredients, ingredients that are better for your body. They taste better. So all of our shops, we fresh crack our eggs every morning. We use real cane sugar, real butter. We're not using oils or beet sugars or trying to cut costs and use emulsifiers and things that might, um, improve shelf life and things. We're not doing any of that. We're trying to make a true gourmet cookie that you would make at home. In fact, I have taken some of our recipes and I can go home and I can make the same cookies at home because it's all the ingredients that you have. So um, that's really kind of what we're all about. And then, kind of where I find my passion and things is trying just to improve the customer experience, right? Making sure that we leverage all the different sales channels, all the different systems that you might go through as a consumer, and making sure that we make it a good experience for you, and that we're enhancing your experience with Cookie Co in any way we can. And so just making sure that we stay on top of everything, and as you know um, consumer trends and new technologies come out, um, making sure that we implement those, because that's going to become what's expected, and we don't want to be playing catch up. We want to be at the forefront in respecting our consumers and giving them as a good experience as we can.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I love the way that you've explained it as well. What I have to always ask, because are you an avid consumer of the cookies? Do you what and if so, what's the favorite one that you like?
Yeah, when you work anywhere, you go through the phases of like, oh yeah, eating cookies too much, and then you obviously it slows down a bit where you're a lot more selective.
Yeah,
Um,
I get what you mean.
yeah, when
What am
I
I
think
talking about?
about when I think about my favorite cookies, I think if just on a quantity perspective, we had a cookie a couple months ago come out. It was a maple pecan. So it was kind of a crunchy scone type cookie packed with pecans and then covered in like a maple drizzle.
Ooh,
But you would go stick that in the microwave for about 10 seconds and eat it with a cup of coffee, and it's just game over.
oh
Game
man,
over. So
you're
good.
making me hungry, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I totally could understand I don't know if I told you, my father has an Italian restaurant
Yeah.
back in LA, and so I grew up eating all the food, and all the time the food's great, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a big fan. There's that moment where you're just like, man, I've had this like every
Yeah.
day for the past
Yeah.
3 years. I'm like, okay, maybe I got to take a step back.
Yeah. You become more selective, right? Because it's like, I
Exactly.
really want this to be a good experience. I'm not just eating a cookie to eat a cookie. Like, and so they'll pop up on the weekly menu, and there's been times where it's like Saturday and I'll be like, crap, I haven't like had a chance to have Hostess cupcake yet. And we'll
Yeah,
have to run back over Saturday night and grab it, because it could be 6 months till you see some of these flavors again. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta get them while you can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's transition from there, because you're making me a little too hungry right now, and I haven't had lunch yet. But I did want to get your opinion. Obviously, being involved heavily with the technology inside of the company. I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on what are the biggest challenges you kind of see with technology in relationship to the food industry. I know we touched on a little bit of the trends, but what would you say are the biggest challenges?
Say challenges, yeah, like I was kind of discussing, is just it's an old industry, right? So you have these partners, you have these different vendors out there that are just they found success in one way of doing business and have just been slow to adopt and change.
Mm.
Um, one of the examples that I can give is I met with a loyalty vendor that was the size we needed for where we're at, but just the way things were, they were used to having a full like kind of dev team on the other side of them to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm kind of coming to the table, hey, it's just me, I don't have a ton of resources. Um, and they weren't able to provide that kind of um, what I was needing from them, just because of their processes and things were set up in a way of kind of an older model of doing business, right? So that's kind of been one thing, just a little bit slow to change and adopt kind of like how fast things can scale nowadays, and um, kind of how you can be a little bit more efficient um, in how you operate. But that comes with, certain caveats of not having a ton of support.
Mm-hmm.
But then being able to go out to different partners and say like, hey, I can bring you this business, but I'm going to need you to meet me a little bit more than just, hey, here's some API documentation. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been one of the challenges. Um, I think whenever I think of challenges in our organization right now, the biggest thing that comes to mind, not necessarily technology related, but just food cost. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and food cost is very volatile, but we have been able to offset some of that through technology and good partnerships. We have a great relationship with a food distributor who uses technology, and they're coming out with new tools every day on how to analyze usage and demand. And so by leveraging kind of some better technology on our food distribution side of things, we're able to kind of know how much we should order, looking at consumer trends and looking at um, kind of trends across the brand to be able to know, okay, hey, because food costs are so high right now, we've lost some of our wiggle room um, in the sense of waste and overages and things. And so now it's become even more important that we only order what we're going to use, right? We only bake the amount of cookies that we're going to sell. And so leveraging our own sales data along with the tools provided by our food distributor, we can help offset some of that, right? Help making some better educated purchasing decisions, and leveraging technology to help us make those decisions can help us kind of overcome some non-technological, um, challenges that we face.
Got it. Got it. Are there any like technologies that you're looking to implement in the near future that you have like on the time horizon?
Definitely. We've got a couple big projects queued up. We're going to be switching our point of sale, and so that comes with a whole host of challenges. But with that point of sale switch, we're also going to be implementing a loyalty program. Um, and loyalty has kind of changed in the industry. It started out very much as just a simple way to track spend and provide um, some sort of reward back, right? So essentially taking the punch card method and digitizing it. But now loyalty entails so much more than just giving rewards back. So what we're looking to do is find a loyalty partner that's not only going to be able to provide us, the reward redemption, but also marketing capabilities, being able to message those consumers uh, and interact with them, and then taking it to the next level and finding someone that's leveraging, machine learning and AI to bring that all together. And so the vision for our loyalty and tech stack moving forward is to implement a solution that is, it's all working together, right? Consumer comes in, they make a purchase, we reward them for that purchase, we analyze their purchases, and then we message them unique, custom messaging to help drive them to come back, right? And then they come back, they make more purchases, which gives more data back to the model to kind of look at, okay, well, what messaging had them come back in? What are they responding to? And so, rather than what we've seen in the past of just segmenting your customers into maybe, let's say, 6 different groups, I've got, moms that come in, after they pick up kids on school, and I've got, working class males. Now we're able to go with technology, able to go much deeper. Yeah. We're able to say, okay, I've got a young adolescent male that, loves chocolate, but also only buys when there's some sort of a discount. He won't pay full price. Yeah. I'm able to, feed that all in there and
your customer base way more.
Yeah. But it's too much for one person to manage. So that's what's nice about this surge in, AI is it's going to be able to go and curate all that data and analyze at a much deeper level than I ever could. And so that's kind of what we're ready to set the foundation for, because I feel that's where the industry is going to go. And it's going to become one of those things that if you're not doing, super enhanced, customer purchase analyzing, like you're going to be leaving money on the table in an industry where there's not really much room to leave money on the table, right? The margins are so low that you gotta do it everywhere you can. So I'm excited for that. That's AI space is particularly so something that's always changing, right? Every month something new comes out. So it's about just kind of laying down a foundation and finding the partners that are committed to pursuing that.
Definitely. As the CIO, you wear a lot of hats, right? I'm sure that there's a lot of different things that you're responsible for. You kind of making sure the technology works within the business, making sure that operations are running smoothly, and also managing people. Because you got your hands full, and from I always like to get the perspective of someone that's in the weeds, that's actually doing it. What type of mindset is really needed to be a successful CIO in an organization?
Yeah, one of our mantras here that I think is really important for this role is there are no problems, only challenges, right? Because there's always going to be things that come up, right? Especially when working across multiple different departments and working with, different vendors and different outside businesses. It's never gonna align the way you imagined it in your mind. Like it's never just going to come together as perfectly as you had hoped. And so seeing those things not as problems or big issues, but just as challenges to spend a little bit more time working through, that's been the thing that has been really helpful in this experience, is making sure that, just because we present one thing and it doesn't necessarily work, doesn't mean that we don't have any solutions available. It just means that we got to dig a little bit deeper, talk to a couple more people, refine the way we were looking at things. And most likely you're going to be able to find a solution to solve that. So just being resilient, being able to critically think through things, not getting caught up on, the first result or response you get, but pursuing, the objective, the goal you have, and just making sure you talk through and work through all the issues, and you'll be able to find a solution. And a lot of the times it turns out even better than what you originally thought it could be, right? Because there's just some piece of information you didn't have. And then you were pushed in figuring that out, and come to find out it works even smoother than you had hoped for. So that's what I would say, just being really resilient.
I like that. I like that what you first said too. There's no problems, there's just challenges. And I think that's a good way definitely to look at things. because, people can get caught up in all the problems that do come with business as kind of taking them on, right? And they like take ownership of them, when you just have to realize like it's part of the job, right? And part of do it. Like, you're always going to have problems. We're always going to have challenges, right? They're always going to have challenges no matter the role you're at, no matter how successful the business is. There's every single time you climb up a new ladder, there's a new set of challenges there, right? And so it's just the constant refinement of being able to continuously solve those and prioritize the one that are the most important.
For sure.
What's the vision, man, for the next 12 months? I don't like to go too far out, 5-10 years. It seems a little bit too far away. But next 12 months, what's on the horizon for Cookie Co. and yourself?
Yeah, so by the end of this year, we should have 50 locations open and operating across the country. Opening up a few new markets. We're going into Florida here pretty soon. Our first one opens up in North Carolina this coming up Saturday. So expansion definitely on the forefront. I had mentioned, we should have a pretty good tech stack overhaul this year as we implement a new point of sale with a loyalty program, and really excited to kind of by the end of this year have that all be kind of one implemented and refined and really be working together good, allowing our franchisees to message their customer base while also us having the corporate ability to send out brand wide communication. I'm excited about implementing a internal project management tool. So we've just been kind of bootstrapping it on some software, but getting a true kind of project management tool and communication tool. I'm excited to get that going. And then I think this year will be a really good year for growth. So just excited to see our team grow. I have been wearing a lot of hats since the beginning of this. And so I think it'll be exciting to hand some of those off and bring some additional resources and support into our team and grow it, and just see, okay, hey, we've done a proof of concept, we've tested and tried processes and policies, and now let's scale this thing and really start increasing that throughput.
Definitely. Well, hey man, it's been a pleasure getting the chance to know you, Greg, and figure out a little bit more about what you guys are doing over there at Cookie Co. Definitely excited. I mean, you guys are 50 locations by the end of the year. You're only at 20. Was it 23? You said.
Yep. So
you guys are looking to grow really quick. So that's awesome, man. You definitely gonna have your hands full. I usually like to kind of just end with more of a cliche question, but what would you say are the most important things that you've learned in your career, Greg, that you'd be willing to share with the audience?
I would say do things right the first time. I do think there's something to be said about don't let perfection stand in the way of progress, right? Don't not do something because you're so inundated with wanting to do it the right way. But if you're going to sit down and if you're going to implement something, or you're going to put something into place, and the thought comes in your mind, well, I could do it the right way, or I could, just get it by, right? And I'll come back to it. Let me just build it. I'll come back to it. What you'll find is that you don't end up getting that much time to come back to it. Mm-hmm. And the problems that arise from that Band-Aid or MVP level solution that you put in would have been better served if you just kind of spend the extra time in the moment and just was thorough. So that's what I'd say I've learned, to slow down and to not just accomplish things for the sake of accomplishing them, but to do things the right way, because in the long run, you'll build a much better system and your life will be a lot better for kind of slowing down and doing things the right way the first time.
Definitely. I like that. That's a unique piece of advice. I haven't heard that one, but I definitely think that's very applicable to a lot of different aspects of life, right? Making sure you put in the proper effort, right? The proper, not half doing something, right? Making sure that you're actually trying to complete it with intention. So I definitely think that's great advice. And I'm excited for you, Greg, and for Cookie Co. I'm definitely going to have to try some of the product now, because You definitely, the maple pecan sounds appealing. Definitely sounds very appealing. But also, man, if anyone's listening to this and they either, they want to maybe reach out to you, what would be the best way to contact you?
Yeah, you can email me directly at greg@cookieco.com. Go check out our website, cookieco.com, and find a location near you, and let me know if anyone has any questions or exciting propositions. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, make sure to leave both of those in the description. Thanks again, Greg, for coming on. If you guys did make it all the way to the end, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks again, Greg. Take care.